All right, folks, back with Grace Marie Turner and Kevin Jackson on the Malzberg panel. And terrible story, very disturbing, guys. And that is that the Obama administration released thousands of convicted criminals, including murderers and those convicted of sexual assault, at the same time while he announces that 1 out of every 5 women on college campuses are sexually assaulted, while they were awaiting deportation proceedings. This, according to a new report, Center for Immigration Studies released the stats yesterday to draw attention to what they say is lax enforcement policies by the Obama administration. We knew they were lax, but according to this report, there were these 36,000 convicted criminals represent 88,000 convictions. They have multiple convictions, and of them, 193 homicide convictions, 426 sexual assault convictions, 303 kidnappings, more than 1,000 aggravated assaults. Kevin, this is a huge story, but the media is not going to tell anybody.
No, they're not. This has happened before, and in fact, I mean, this can certainly dovetail into immigration policy in general. I remember one of the reports I read where a group of ICE agents were sued because they actually deported illegal immigrants up in somewhere up north, and the illegal immigrants won the case. I mean, I honestly, this is such an atrocity. I don't know how this administration can stand on this. I don't know how the people that support amnesty can support something like this. I mean, we're talking about allowing the worst of society, and not even American society, but the worst of society into our society, which goes to show you the level of protection that this government has for you. It is a joke to believe that and I don't want to get into this liberalism rant, but the idea that liberalism wants to protect the American citizen has become sort of the administration joke.
Well, and you have to look, Kevin, also, this presidency and this administration are lawless. They're not enforcing the law in so many different areas. And here is a really egregious example of that somebody is going to wind up getting hurt over this and maybe lose their life because of administration policies. And think what this does to the morale of these immigration agents, where they work so hard to apprehend people who are breaking the law and to try to deport them back to their country. And the administration just releases them. Why should they work so hard to capture them in the future?
Well, I think to your first point, it isn't that they're going to start having an impact on the American citizens. They already are. And there was a report out of LA a while back that talked about the number of crimes that are being committed by illegals in Los Angeles. And Steve, you might want to look this up at some point, but it was an outrageous amount of crime by a very small amount of people. And it's sort of like the stat where you look at black teenage crime in America and you find out that a very small percentage of people are creating a lot of the crimes. It's that way in these enclaves where supposedly they are allowing these sanctuary states, is where you're starting to see this type of thing happen. And what it goes to show you, and to the second point of morale, Grace Marie, you're looking at a place in America, a time in America where we as citizens feel like our lives are being put second in comparison to people. And it's not even the best of those folks. It would be different if we were bringing in the best like the way we used to. We're talking about the scourge of society coming over, committing crimes, and the Obama administration essentially saying, you know what, I rank you higher than the tax-paying American citizen.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Kevin. Absolutely right. And how this is allowed, how the public stands for this, again, is that the public doesn't know about this, and that's because we don't have a true media in this country. All right, let's turn our attention, if we can, Grace Marie and Kevin, to what's become known as the kiss. And this was, interesting. I had Rick Unger on in the last panel, and I made my argument, which has been made by others on both sides of the political spectrum, that, watching on ESPN the NFL draft, a father watching with his 8-year-old son, 7, 9, who, if he knew that in a movie there was going to be 2 men kissing repeatedly, he wouldn't take that kid to the movie because that's his parental choice. that father had a right to know that ESPN was going to do this, and ESPN should have been sensitive to that. And Rick Unger said, and he's no conservative, he said, good argument. So now that's what we're going to put this up. I want to watch. Oh, we are watching it. Okay. This was the cake part after the initial kiss, where there was like almost like a wedding cake, where he put it in Sam put it in his partner's mouth, and then they kissed. And again, this offended a lot of people, Kevin.
Well, let me tweet OMG first and then horrible after that and see if I get fined. Yeah,
like the Miami Dolphin player who did it.
Right. What a spectacle. I mean, look, on so many, I want to be very clear. What people do in sexuality-wise to me is of no consequence to me. I personally am I call myself a not gay. I'm not even heterosexual. I'm not gay. And it's kind of a thumb in the eye of the gay movement. But the thing about this is,
we got 20 seconds for you, Kev. Go.
Okay, what should be a non-issue has become an issue. And as far as the kiss goes, so staged, shouldn't have been done. I wouldn't have want my kids watching it for no other reason than I probably wouldn't let my 7-year-old watch two heterosexuals kiss on a moment like that.
Grace Marie, 15 seconds, Grace Marie.
Steve, I think you make a really good point. If there were a homosexual kiss on a movie, how would they rate that movie? And would it be considered to be a G-rated movie? I think not.
All right.
And when you've got your son with you watching that football,
right.
I think that's
Grace Marie Turner, good. Kevin Action Jackson, we thank you. Don't go away, folks. Come back.